Geometry Dash is one of my favorite games of all time, and it has one of the craziest communities that I've ever seen. From pushing the limits of what is humanly possible to creating unbelievable masterpieces that you could call works of art. And with the competitive nature of the game being so apparent in the community, the hardest levels get massive attention. The community is in a constant race for the first place, trying to dethrone the hardest level. But today, I want to show you the level that managed to reign the throne longer than any other one. This is the story of the level that managed to outlast everyone else. Bloodlust. With the 10 years of history that this game has, it is incredible seeing how the community evolved. Geometry Dash is a really simple game. You are this tiny little cube right here and need to reach the end of the level by avoiding spikes and other hazards. The levels get significantly harder and more complicated with game modes being thrown into the mix. These portals switch the cube into other game modes that significantly impact the gameplay of the level. In one game mode, you click to jump, while in the other, you click to switch gravity. The game also has a level editor, which allows people to create their own levels and use all those game mechanics and objects. And with all those useful features at their disposal, people create masterpieces. But with a game as simple as this, it was obvious from the beginning that not everyone was going to make easy levels. From the day the game launched, people have always been trying to break the barrier of difficulty in this game. But with all the praise we have for the hard levels today, it wasn't always like this. The community despised any level that showed their sign of skill issue and disliked them to the brim. But after a certain impossible level called Cataclysm actually got verified legitimately, the community started to get back into them, and one singular player saw Cataclysm and was amazed by it. His name was Riot, and after he actually completed it, he was about to do something that would change history. Bloodbath's impact on the community signified a new era in the difficulty of the game, and cemented Riot as one of the greatest players. The level attracted new players and was the start for a development of many new levels. Sonic Wave, Yatagarasu, Sekupen Hell, so many difficult levels appearing out of nowhere, all because of the 144Hz monitor just being introduced into the community. And surprisingly, a few years later, a player named Magicks decided to remake the level. Bloodbath is not the only thing that Riot would try to slay. Sonic Wave, a direct competitor to Bloodbath, was hacked by Cyclic and was miles harder. And while Riot was trying to verify Sonic Wave, a couple of events led up to the creation of Sonic Wave Infinity, a remake of Sonic Wave. Now, Magicks. After releasing a first installment in his Fusion series, he gained a pretty big following. Wait, why does that name sound kind of familiar? And on the 29th of March 2016, the first preview of Bloodlust was released. The gameplay was clearly Bloodbath inspired and the community was excited for this new level. On April 2nd and April 9th, Magicks released 2 more previews of the level, and it looked like the level would be finished soon. The latter preview features a swing copter inspired heavily by Hin's part in Yatagarasu. Magicks also mentioned that the level had 69,000 objects so far. Like, what? Excuse me? Hello? A few days later, a player named Quasar showcased more of Bloodlust's gameplay, stating in the description that he buffed most of the parts in the level. Later down the line, Magicks showcased 2 more parts in Bloodlust, before Quasar finally showcased the final preview of the infamous level. By now, the level was really starting to take shape, and one thing he mentioned in the description was that the level was apparently the same difficulty as Yatagarasu. However, the true difficulty of this level would soon show after. On May 4th, 2016, Quasar officially announced that he had his exams coming up, and that his hand was repeatedly hurting from playing so much Geometry Dash. He couldn't handle the stress that comes with playing such a competitive game, so he decided to quit Geometry Dash on the 16th of August. Now, with the verifier of Bloodlust gone, who would Magicks choose to be the verifier now? Enter Nobbleboy. Now, Nobbleboy is a pretty interesting person. He is a Dutch GD player, and aside from being a well-respected creator at the time, he was also a really skilled player. His works like Crying Souls and The Furious garnered a lot of attention, and he was praised and loved for his work. Although, with him being the verifier of Bloodlust, people were a bit concerned, especially because Bloodbath was his hardest demon at the time. If you want to know how crazy of a jump this was, Bloodlust is almost about to fall off the demon list, sitting on the 72nd spot as of me writing this video. Bloodbath is on the 435th spot. Do you know how crazy this is? Bloodbath isn't even in the top 300 hardest demons anymore, and Nobbleboy was going to verify this beast of a level. But against all expectations, he managed to get 36% and 65 to 92%, coming from a player who had just beaten Bloodbath. Absolutely insane. Although, one thing you have to know about Nobbleboy is that he must have some type of ADHD or something, because he gets distracted a lot, and being a creator and player at the same time is kind of hard. He focused on a ton of projects as a creator like Fusion Z. I swear, I didn't make the name because of that. Thanatos and God Eater, which, had a bit of controversy in it. With all the distractions and controversies out the way, he started to absolutely grind this level. It had now turned to 2016, and with almost no progress being made, the community thought that Nobbleboy would never beat the level. However, on March 3rd, 2017, he would finally pass the Bloodbath part in the level with 68%. What do I mean by that? Well, Bloodlust is actually just a buff version of Bloodbath, with an extension at the end, which makes the level way harder. Also, did you know that in between Michigan and Evasium's part, there's a text which has swag? It's referring to what Riot said in the verification of Bloodbath. Pretty funny, right? Anyway, a few days after he got 68%, he managed to do the entire extension in a single run, achieving 65 to 100%. The community was actually starting to think that Bloodlust could be verified soon, although after getting some progress and taking a break, he would get 76% on the level, and people thought he would finally do it, but something would happen that would shake the entire community and would be considered one of the worst fails in Geometry Dash history. This was devastating. He was so close to beating this absolute beast of a level. It was already bad enough that he had gotten 97% 10 minutes before the 98% fail, and later he got 97% again. This made him insanely demotivated, and the community wasn't helping. People wanted a new verifier for Bloodlust, especially since it had almost been a year since it was announced that Nobbleboy was verifying Bloodlust. Later, a player named Krazen, who I can't really talk about in this video, started getting rapid progress on Bloodlust, and many people were wondering why he was even practicing it, since Nobbleboy was already verifying it. And to understand why he was even doing this, we have to dig a bit deeper. Fusion Z was a mega collab hosted by Magicks and was supposed to be the final installment in the Fusion series, but in the middle of development of the level, Magicks quit Geometry Dash for a while, which left the level dead. But Nobbleboy, who didn't want the level to die, stole the level. How could someone just leave a level dead when all of the creators worked so hard on it? It was a massive controversy, which is a really complicated topic. But back to Bloodlust. Krazen said that because Nobbleboy stole Fusion Z, he could steal Bloodlust. Which, what? Like, what type of excuse is that? Like, I don't huh? This evolved into a big controversy and split the community into two sides. The one who supported Krazen and the ones who didn't. Eventually, Krazen apologized and let Nobbleboy verify the level. Nobbleboy had fought through the level for over 2 years at this point, and it felt like he would never beat the level. It had now been over 121,000 attempts in, and nobody in the history of Geometry Dash has spent this many attempts trying to verify a top 1 demon. After the several ending fails, people thought that this level would never see the light of day. It had now been many days, weeks, and months since the last progress video. But then, on the 20th of February, 2018, after years of struggle and determination, after thousands of attempts and many controversies, Nobleboy would do the unthinkable and surprise millions of people. $121,000 attempts and several years of pain later, it was finally done. The hardest level had been verified. Nobody could believe this. The difficulty that this level has is absolutely insane, and somehow, Bloodlust is now almost about to fall off the demon list. Plasma Pulse Finale was the top one before Bloodlust was verified, and many people were arguing about if the level should be placed above or below it. But if you look now, Plasma Pulse Finale is 30 spots apart from Bloodlust on the list, sitting at spot 107 on the demon list, and Nobleboy had finally slain this beast of a level. Surprisingly, the community finally showed support and cheered Nobleboy on for completing such a ridiculously hard level. And for popularity, the verification video hit 1 million views shortly after, but the views wouldn't stop. So, how many views do you think the video has now? 2 million? 5 million maybe? Maybe even more. This video has 11 million views, making it the most viewed Extreme Demon verification video ever, and the impact that this level had on the community is crazy. From completely blowing up Nobleboy's channel to changing the way that people view demons today, Magicks had finally achieved his goal of making the best bloodbath remake to ever exist. The first victor of the level would turn out to be Scrybes, beating the level in less than 10,000 attempts. Wait, 10k? What? How? In the years that Bloodlust has been on the demon list, there have been more than 420 completions of Bloodlust as of me writing the script of this video. But this is not really where the story ends, since something would happen that would change Geometry Dash history once again. On the 21st of February 2018, Bloodlust was placed over Plasma Pulse Finale at the #1 spot. But Bloodlust was such a hard level that it literally took over a year to dethrone on the demon list. It sat on the throne for 383 days before Zodiac dethroned it on March 10th, 2018, and no other level has ever managed to last as long as Bloodlust on the #1 spot on the demon list. I mean, except for Tartarus, but who cares about that level anyway?
How dare you say that, you?
Bloodlust is a story of pain and controversy, luckily with a happy ending. With Nobleboy being such a massive figure in the community, I can't help but wonder what he would have been without Bloodlust. This level brought so many people into this game, and that's why I consider it so influential. Many creators try and fail at making the next big top 1, so seeing this actually pay off and in the best way possible is just amazing. With Geometry Dash being such an amazing game, I really wish that you guys watching this video are inspired by the story of Bloodlust. This community has seen ups and downs, and with 2.2 finally releasing, it will be stronger than ever. Subscribe, thank you guys for watching, and bye.